I had a shop on Beaulieu High Street, and Amanda used to make bears, and she came in to see if I could sell the bears through my shop, and I said, absolutely, that's fine, but I want you to demonstrate making the bears. So she agreed to do that.
That's a better one. The only reason I'm doing this, I wouldn't usually be so brutal, but somebody glued the last eye on, which has caused all this hard stuff, which I will have to sit and pick out piece by piece at some point.
What are they again, sorry?
They're glass. The eyes would have been glass. We get an awful lot of bears from around the, pre-war bears, and slightly after the war as well, that don't have eyes because they were glass and they came on a long wire, as you saw. Then you had to kind of fold the back up, make a loop. And the parents thought they would be dangerous, so they took the eyes out. So now these children have grown up, they're kind of, I want eyes in my bear.
What's his name?
He hasn't got a name, but he's made by Farnell around in the 1930s. This is the key thing on here. There were two companies that use what they call webbed claw stitching, but Farnell did 5 like this, and the other company would be Merithor, and they only did 4. So we can pretty accurately say this is a Farnell bear because of his claw stitching and this, the way he's made, etc. Better once we tie that off. So from this one I can see somebody has actually already been in here, because if you can see the difference between the wood wool, some of it's new. Oh my, it's very exciting, isn't it? One day we'll find treasure. We had a Steiff teddy bear that been in the family for many years, and I opened it up. It made me go cold actually, because as I opened it up, all I could see were little swastikas. They'd taken a piece out, taken all the mechanism out, cut, and they'd used one of these playing cards with swastikas all over it to close it back up. And we heard that during the war, people that were trying to escape would hide things inside the children's bears and things like that. So we wondered if he was ever used for that. This doesn't want to come out. Oh, here we go. Just gruesome enough for you. That is actually a squeak. It's not a growl. He had a squeak. I can tell because it's got a spring in there, and you would have pressed his tummy and it would have squeaked. A lot of people say it sounds like a sheep or a cow. Apparently it's the noise a baby bear makes when he's calling his mother. It's a tilt, called a tilt growler. And then where possible, we use all the original. It gets pretty messy. It's a bit like a shopping trolley. You can never get back in everything you take out. You know? How do I get all that in there? So now, ready? What I'm just doing now is I'm just manoeuvring some of the stuffing through. It sounds a bit crunchy, but it's because it's this wood wool. I'm moving it through because he's got a slight humped back, which has collapsed a bit with his age. Kapok would have been in here as well, but as he is old, I always finish with a layer of kapok because the fabric is so sort of fragile, so it's softer. But obviously if they never had kapok, then I have to line the tummies in another way. I always put on a bit of weight when they've been here, a bit fatter. So just keep to do this as invisible as possible, but kapok does insist on getting wrapped around the thread. You see it's all coming together now and you can't see the stitching.
As the weeks went by, we found a lot of people asking us if we could actually do repairs for them. Cut a long story short, as the years went by, it became clear to us that was what people wanted, the repair work rather than the purchasing from a shop.
These come from about the 1950s, but they were made for a store in Canada. And they were only ever made for that store, so they're really rare. They need a little bit of work on them, so we thought it would be nice to sort of people to see them anyway. They made them especially for Eton's. Apparently there was a little teddy bear character that the children all loved, so they made these pumpkin heads to represent them. But a lot of them come to us with no hair, because in the storybooks you could cut their hair off and it would grow again. So a lot of children got them for Christmas and cut their hair off. They all had a little pair of shorts on. They're very sweet. Their eyes were painted, and obviously I think what's happened here is this one, they painted his eye and put it straight in, so the paint is now on the fur, but we've got to get that off and give him a new eye. I'll start on his toes. Luckily his actual feet are in really good condition. It is literally just the paw pad, you know, the bottom of the foot that needs attention. Some bears had stitched claws like that one I showed you earlier, but this one they've airbrushed them on, just on here. It's a bit time consuming. We have to be really careful when we take them off, because, and I tend to be more careful with the velvet. You can see how tiny the original stitches are. We have to do them one at a time. And then this piece that I'm taking off, although it looks a bit threadbare and a bit moth-eaten, I will actually use this as a template to make him a new one. So the next thing I'll need to do is find some felt that is, you know, more or less the same colour, and then make him a new foot pad. Plus, as I say, I've got to make cardboard inserts. Just checking that the little foot pad, or the card insert that I was saying about earlier, fits in there perfectly, which it does. And then pinning it, it's got to be quite taut, this one, because they would stand up. That's why they've got this card in here. So yeah, that one's ready. We can sew that one into place and sort of top up the stuffing in a minute. But do the same procedure with this one, but on this foot, it's very important, we feel, that we, in the pad here, we'll cut a little window so that this original label can still be seen. If we were to take the label off and put it on the new foot pad, it could be seen by somebody as we just put a label on there, and you know, but this is the original label and it needs to stay on the original foot. See that? So you can see this, you know, kind of before and after now, because this one's waiting to be done. He's still got no cardboard inserts. Somebody's put these over. These aren't original, and they're kind of squidgy. This one's finished. It's got the card in there. This one's nearly done.
So what I'm doing here is I'm going to replace the head on this teddy bear. This teddy bear's from probably the 1950s, 60s. So he's a mohair bear, and he's stuffed with kapok and wood wool, which we will be able to put back in. And I'm going to replace his head using a cotter pin joint. So this is the cotter pin setup, and we start off with the disc, a washer and the pin, and this piece will go into the head. So this is the start of it. So we have to put this in here with the pin sticking out, because this will end up in the body. Oh, there's a little bit of time now because I've got to stitch that in place.
So, who is this bear?
This is a Merrythought Cheeky Bear, a design exclusive to Merrythought, which is a British bear making company, and the design was invented in 1953.
Just after these guys.
We're basically going to pull it together around the pin, because we don't want this disc moving. The jingling you can hear is the bells he's got in his ears. Has some a trait of the cheeky bear. They always have bells in their ears. If I keep hold of that. So as I says, I'm going along here. I'm checking that he's all firm and there's no sort of pockets where I've missed the stuffing.
Were you both pointing to bears before then as well?
Amanda more than me. I've always been passionate about handcrafted items. My shop, and the reason why I wanted Amanda to demonstrate in the shop, was really so that people could see the time and effort and skill and hard work that goes into creating something by hand, instead of walking in and saying, well, I'm not paying that much for that, whatever it is. So for me, it didn't have to be teddy bears. It could have been anything, carpet making, sculpting, art of any sort. But teddy bears were a lovely vehicle in those early days. And as the years have gone by, my passion for them has grown, and my interest in the history and my own skills have grown. And so, yeah, now teddy bears it is.